Thank you all for joining us today. This webinar will be recorded so you can share it with others on your team or come back and listen to it later. Today we're focusing on back to school and the changes that it brings for children and their families. For most kids, this is exciting, but it can also be a challenging and stressful time of the year. Today's webinar will start with some tips that you can share with the families that you work with to help them prepare for a great new school year. And then we'll focus on things you can do in your after-school program to get off to a good year and to help young people make connections between what you're doing in your program and the new school year. Thank you for joining us today. And if you have any questions as we're going through the webinar, please feel free to share those in the chat box. The start of this new school year is a change for the whole family. And so I wanted to start with some tips that you can share with the families to help prepare them for these changes. Starting a few weeks before the school year, if you can, or as soon as possible for those of you who already have school starting. Encourage families to start a good sleep schedule. 8 hours or more of sleep is one of the best resources parents can give to help their children be successful at school. Encourage families to establish a good sleep routine that will prepare children to learn, and start that before school starts if they can. It's also important to prepare for the school day routine. Practice the morning routine of getting up early and preparing for school. You can even go to school in the morning so children become familiar with the new routine. At school, take some time to play on the playground or walk around the school to make it feel comfortable. It's also important to getting school supplies fun. Many communities and churches have programs to provide school supplies for low-income families. Share these opportunities with the families in your program and encourage them to take advantage of them. If you don't have resources like that in your community, consider having something in your after-school program where children can win school supplies by playing games like bingo or ring toss or a duck pond. It helps make this a fun and make learning something that they're looking forward to. The last tip for families is that they need to build positive relationships with their child's teachers. Encourage your families to remember that teachers truly care about the children they work with and want them to be successful. Help them establish good communication with teachers that will benefit their child so they can be honest and be prepared to listen and work with teachers if problems occur in the classroom. And encourage them to take advantage of opportunities to get to know their teachers and to attend conferences and things like that so that they know what's going on and they're involved in their school. Help your families trust the judgment of teachers and help them know that teachers have the best interests of children in mind. Often there's a lot more trust with the after-school program because you've been working with families for a long time. So help share that trust to help them connect to their school. Do you have any other ideas based on your own experience that have helped families your family or others get ready for school? If you have tips, why don't you share those in the chat box? We can all learn from one another. Now I want to think about how you can get your program off to a good start. Research shows that children in quality after-school programs are more likely to come to school, stay in school, turn in their work, and get better grades. So it's really important to provide that quality program for the students in your community. And here are 6 things that you can do to make your program better. Just like we talked about how important it is to develop the relationship between families and teachers, it's important for after-school programs to develop their relationships. The relationships with teachers and administrators in the school, their relationships with families, and positive relationships with youth. Part of building strong relationships with young people is to take a positive approach, focus on their strengths and opportunities, get to understand their interests and values so that you can build on those in the programming that you offer. The second tip for your program is to give young people challenges that they can rise up to. This helps them develop their confidence in themselves and build their skills. Engineering design challenges are a great way to start with introducing the idea of rising to a challenge, but encourage your staff to keep thinking about how they can challenge the individual youth they're working with to grow and develop. Our third tip is to provide opportunities to develop leadership and decision-making. Encourage opportunities in your STEM activities, but don't limit them just to STEM activities. Think about other ways that young people can take a leadership or decision-making role in your program. This is going to help prepare them for being leaders in school and in the community. It's also important, as much as you can, to integrate routines from the school day into your practices and structures in after school. Focus on systems that are used in the school for social emotional learning, behavior management, and communication with families. And think about how you can integrate those into how you do things in your program. Finally, we encourage you to connect to the goals of your school district and your school building. It's really important that you make the effort to understand what your school district is trying to accomplish so that you can integrate these into your after-school program. And then help your staff be able to articulate these connections to teachers and to parents so that everyone understands how you're being a bridge between families and the school. These tips come from Why Strong After School Program Matters, and I'll send a link with that with the recording of the webinar so you can look up that article. One of the most important things we can do for the youth in our programs is to be clear in helping them understand what skills they're building in our program and how they can bridge these skills between their after-school program and the classroom. So some of the things you're helping youth develop in your program are self-management skills, focusing on things like self-regulation, planning, mastering an objective, and completing a task helps build positive behavior in the after-school program and prepares them to be successful academically in school. Another area where you can build skills for young people is in building and maintaining positive relationships. Positive relationships with their peers and their adults are important. In your program, you can focus on activities that encourage teamwork, communication, and respect to build these relationship skills. Another key skill you can develop in after school is perseverance, the ability to maintain effort even in the face of frustration or failure so that you can be successful in achieving a goal. Help students understand when they utilize perseverance, like when they're trying to master a video game or program a robot. And then help them see how they can harness those skills to persevere at tasks in school. Focus on developing their drive, self-awareness, and determination. One of the other key areas we talked about is how important it is to connect to the school day routine. We also want to encourage you to think about the scope and sequence of learning that students have at school, and think about how your program can build connections between the hands-on learning that they do in your after-school and summer program and the academic content that will be covered during the school year. Understanding what your school scope and sequence will be can help in building these connections. So think about, what are the activities you did this summer with the youth in your program? And talk to teachers to find out how they connect to your school scope and sequence. And then communicate with the teachers about the experience students had over the summer, so they can help tie back to those experiences as they're introducing new content in the classroom. So we talked about how you can help students bridge between your program and the school day. And you can also partner with teachers to help them build bridges between what's happening in your program and their own school day. To make this a little bit more clear, I want to show a video. This one's about roller coasters, which is a favorite summertime activity for a lot of families. And as you watch this video, think about how the facilitator helps youth bridge their own experience with roller coasters to the learning activity. And also, how does she ensure that all students have a personal experience with roller coasters? What does she do to engage students that may have never been on a roller coaster? And then how does she help them learn from their prior experience and knowledge and apply that in the activity? We're using this as a model to help you think about how you can build connections from the experiences in your program to the school day. So think about how she is building those connections with the students. I'm going to pull up that video now.
Who loves roller coasters? Tell me why you love it.
All the like loop-de-loops and stuff.
Loops, yep.
Because I get to go upside down.
Yep.
You get to get scared.
It scares you, yeah, there's something about it, right? This is the Hydra at Dorney Park.
Youth love roller coasters. What better way to get them excited about an engineering challenge than having them work in teams to design a roller coaster? Youth are given the materials, a demonstration of one way it could look, and a challenge of only so much money or tape, and let go to create a one-loop roller coaster. Watch how frontline staff model interest and excitement to get youth talking about their design.
This is a track. This is a stand so that you can connect your track to it to get some height off the table. We have these things here called clamps. You have a pencil in case you need to do any documentation, and you have 2 cups with how many marbles?
3. Thank you. I lost it. We need it closer together, probably.
You think it has too much force? What made you think that?
I don't know, just because like it's heavier, because it's bigger, so I think it's just gonna hit it with more force.
Good job. You got both marbles to work. Fantastic. All right, you're getting closer now. Hey guys, it just needs fine tuning, and then you're good. Okay?
Oh, there we got one.
Did you get one? All right, good.
So if you don't have it open, pull up that chat box again and think about, what did you notice in the video? How is she building connections, and what are some things that you saw in the video that you can include in how you do your program? One of the things that I noticed is she started out with, tell me why you love it. Really making an emotional connection to the experience of being on a roller coaster and encourage them to share their personal experience. The other thing I noticed, though, is she also went directly into that virtual roller coaster experience. So for students who had never been on a roller coaster, they had a sense of that experience to build on. She introduced the resources that were available for them to work with, making sure that they all knew what they had to choose from and what they could do with those. And then encouraged them to talk about their design, to communicate with her and with each other about what they had planned. Were there any other things you noticed about how she made connections? One of the things Karen noticed about the activity is it's something that all students can be engaged in regardless of their ability. And putting students in teams makes it fun for them and helps keep everyone engaged. And again, it's building those soft skills of working and communicating with others. So the next part of our webinar is really focused on how you can work with staff in your program to help them have the skills and the resources they need to build connections. So let me go back to the PowerPoint. This is a coaching resource from Click the Science PD that helps staff think about building bridges from prior experiences to activities they're planning. I'm going to adapt this activity a little bit to build bridges from activities that we've done in the after-school program to the school day. So as you download this resource and look at it, you'll see it's a little different than what I'm presenting here in the webinar. But that's important because I want to encourage you to adapt the Click the Science resources to meet the needs of your program. So let's start by brainstorming some summertime activities. And you may just want to jot down some ideas in front of you, or you can just think about how you would have your staff brainstorm activities that they've done over the summer, so we can think about how to build bridges between those activities and the school day. The Bridges worksheet here is part of the coaching guide that you can download. So let's think about some activities that you might have done in your summer program and then just making up some things. But because of the video we just saw, riding a roller coaster comes to mind. Maybe you had youth participating in the swim team or a summer reading program. So those are some things that you did in your program. Those are experiences that young people have. Now, how can we connect those to the expectations that they're going to face in the classroom or the experiences in the classroom? So when we designed and built the roller coaster, we were thinking about skills like teamwork, communication, perseverance. So as you help them think about how that activity connects to those skills that they need in school. Participating in the swim team provides young people the opportunity to work as a team, but also do their best individually. Help them see how this connects to what is expected of them in the classroom as well. Being part of the summer reading program helps young people develop their skills as a reader and learn new things. Again, help them see how the summer reading program prepares them for success in the classroom. This is how we want them to build bridges between what they're doing in your program and what we want them to do to be successful in the classroom. And this is a resource you can download for free from Click to Science PD to use with the staff in your program to help them think about building bridges, either between youth's prior experiences and the activities they're planning in your program, or between the activities you're doing in your program and the skills and the practices they need to be successful in the classroom. This month at Click to Science, we're exploring this theme of building bridges between summer and the school year all month long. So look for featured resources that you can use with your staff, online training experiences, and blogs on this topic. Next month, our webinar is going to focus on coding, our computer science, and free resources from National 4-H and Google, the 2018 National Youth Science Day Challenge, Code Your World. So I'll introduce you to the resources that are available in Code Your World, and let you know how you can access those resources and how you can integrate those into your program. Thanks for joining us today, and please connect with us at clicktosciencepd.org and let us know if you have any questions about Click to Science or how we can support your program. We partner with a lot of after-school programs to plan and deliver professional development for staff or to train trainers that can really support you locally. So feel free to reach out and connect with us and think about how we can all work together. Once again, thanks for joining us today and have a great week.